Okay, so we're gonna make carnitas for our Chipotle style dinner tonight. So we're gonna start with a pork shoulder. We're gonna need half an onion, half a jalapeno. We're gonna need 3/4 of a cup of orange juice or 2 freshly squeezed oranges, and then salt, pepper, cumin, and oregano, and some olive oil. I'm gonna make the rub first. So it's gonna be about 2 tablespoons of salt in here. We're gonna have about a tablespoon of pepper, and then about a tablespoon of oregano. You know, it's gonna take a minute. And then we're also gonna add about a tablespoon of cumin, and then just take a spoon and stir that all up. So we're gonna drizzle some olive oil, and then we're gonna massage that in. This is gonna get the rub to really get and sink into the skin. So we're gonna take this rub, pretty much just rub it everywhere. So we're really gonna massage this in there. Make sure we get it into every little crevice that we can. And then this is our pork shoulder ready to go, and we're gonna put that straight on in the Instant Pot right here. So we're gonna get a tablespoon of garlic and put that in there. And then we have that 3/4 cup of orange juice. Gonna go ahead and add that raw over. And then we're just gonna kind of dice the jalapeno and the onion. So we have the jalapeno. I'm just gonna cut off this end here and remove this stem. I don't mind too many. I don't mind too many seeds, but I don't want all of it. So then we're gonna go here, and we're just gonna slice. There we go, and we're gonna add that straight in. And then we're gonna do the same with the onion. So I have half an onion here. I'm gonna go and do a V cut around the core and remove that. And then we're gonna slice that as well. The shape doesn't matter. There we go. We're gonna add that in here. Okay. Yes, my sous chef here is, you don't know how, really? We're gonna close the Instant Pot, maybe. Almost there. Wow, did it. Then make sure this is not on venting. And then we're gonna pressure cook on manual mode on high for about 55 minutes. We want this meat to become completely shreddable. And here we go.
Good form.
Moving on to the chicken, we're gonna make a spice mix of 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 1 tablespoon of salt. Then we're gonna take the 2 chicken breasts and put them in the Ziploc bag. After this, we're gonna seal the Ziploc bag and try to take as much air out of it as we can. And then we're gonna grab a tenderizer and tenderize it until it's about 1/2 inch thick, or until, you know, you like it. Okay, so to the bag, we're gonna add about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. We're gonna add the vinegar as well as the spices. Okay, and then we're gonna seal the bag and try to take as much air out of it as possible. All I'm doing here is massaging the chicken and the rub all into it. Okay, and we're gonna let this sit for as long as you can, marinating before you cook it. And lastly, I can't believe I dared to forget, we're gonna put some garlic in this. So we're gonna get another tablespoon of garlic, put it in the bag, and then basically everything I already said. Our next recipe is our white rice. It's gonna be our cilantro lime rice, but first I'm just gonna go ahead and make normal rice. So I'm gonna get 2 cups of white rice.
For this, you want to use the rice scooper, not a normal cup measurement. A lot of rookies mess that up on their first time.
I wonder who.
I don't know.
Then we're gonna properly wash the rice, which means we submerge it in water, and then we use our hands to stir it around And see how the water clouds up with the starch of the rice? We wanna keep cleansing it until it's almost clear. Again, we're just gonna go stir it around, cleanse the rice.
Notice JJ in the background. He's hanging out.
He is very tired of being in the chair. We're gonna get him in a minute. He was not having nap time or snack time today.
But we really hope he has bedtime today.
Oh, God save us all.
It's my second favorite part of the day.
Okay, so I'm gonna put in just about a teaspoon of olive oil and about a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm gonna fill it with 3 cups of water and then just play the rice cooker. Yeah.
JJ's really getting into it. He's on the edge of his seat.
I use my finger, stir it all around, just give it a good little mix, and down we go. So now for the rest of dinner, we just have to wait a long time. Okay, so time's up. I'm gonna put it on venting mode, and then I like to have my napkin right here so it doesn't go everywhere. It's been on slow release, so it only has a little bit to go. Uh-oh.
This guy's hungry.
All right, let's check if this is ready.
Hi, buddy. You're okay. I just changed his diaper. He's always pretty unhappy when I do it.
So we have almost ready here. It's very full apart, but I want it even further. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset it and set it for another 15 minutes. Once our rice is done, we wanna grab a fork and move it around and fluff it so it doesn't stick together. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, our next recipe is my black bean recipe. So I'm gonna do about half an onion and half a pepper. For the onion, we wanna take off both ends, and then we want to cut right across the core and then remove the peel. So I'm gonna cut straight across this pepper. I like to just go across and then remove the stem then. I find that that's the least amount of waste that I get from it, and then I just take out these white skins. Here I'm just gonna speed through slicing the pepper and the onion and then going ahead and dicing them as well. Okay, so we're gonna add olive oil just to cover the bottom of the pan, the pot. We're gonna let that heat up. Now we add the onions, peppers, and 2 tablespoons of garlic. And then to that, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of oregano and about half a teaspoon of each, of cumin and oregano. I don't measure things, so I'm just trying to make it easy for people. And then we're gonna stir that up and let that cook until it's translucent. Well, that is cooking, and our oven is preheating to 400 degrees. I'm going to get this cast iron skillet with 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Those are nice and translucent, so we're gonna add a can of black beans. This is a pretty large can. It is that many ounces. And then we're gonna add some salt. And I don't really like saying how much salt to add. Everyone's preference on salt is different, so it really just depends on what you like. And then just to finish that off, we're gonna fill this can with half with water. I like using the bits of it. I feel like all of it is just more flavor. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add that here. And then we're gonna let that cook on low for about 10 minutes. And then it should be good. Nice and hot, and we're gonna sear the chicken on both sides. Salsa, I am mincing this onion, so cutting them a lot smaller. And again, I'm slicing this pepper, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mince it so the slices are much thinner. Hi, buddy. cut a bunch of tomatoes and put that in the salsa as well. These are nice and crispy on the other side, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip them. And then to finish them off, I'm gonna put them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 5 minutes or until they reach 160 degrees. We're in the middle of 2 crying babies right now. But I grabbed some cherry tomatoes that I had left over, and I'm dicing up a jalapeno. A bunch here of cilantro. We're gonna chop that up and throw that in the salsa. We're gonna keep crying. And then we're also gonna finish it with some lime juice, salt, and oregano. Yes, my love. We got some cilantro, some nice lime juice, squeeze it all out.
Smells really cilantro-y.
And then we're gonna take some oregano, just sprinkle a little bit that, and get some salt. Stir that all up. And we got salsa.
Chipotle, if you're watching this, go ahead and reach out. We can try and do some kind of a collab.
Oh my gosh.
We'll let you guys keep like 10% of the profits
Oh my
for all
gosh.
recipes.
Stop it. The more this sits, the better it tastes, in my opinion. But
What do we think? We got a happy dance.
so we put the thermometer right on the thickest part of the meat, not touching the bottom, because if we touch the bottom, it's gonna change the temperature. It's at 154, so we should probably leave it in there for, let's say, another 4 minutes. Off this rice, we're gonna add some nice cilantro and some lime, which makes it that nice cilantro lime rice. Cilantro lime rice.
All right, so for the second most important part, other than the meat, you're gonna start some butter on a pan, and then you're going to add diced tomatoes. What else, babe?
Some green onions and some garlic.
And then we're gonna add jalapenos later. All right, so our pan is hot, butter's nice and melted. I'm gonna add the concoction of the ingredients that my lovely wife listed a few seconds ago, and let it do its thing.
And then we let the meat rest, the chicken rest for about 10 minutes. And now we're grabbing and slicing it off. And now we're gonna work on the next batch of meat. Because I decided to do so many freaking recipes in one day.
It's gonna be good though. And it's almost his bedtime.
Woohoo!
We love JJ's bedtime. The only time we love more is when he wakes up in the morning and we get to get him. Thoughts?
Today's been a rough day. So bedtime's gonna be nice for us.
Oh, she's adding in flour.
What does that make, babe?
I don't remember the word. A roux.
Yes.
A roux. I was gonna say rye.
What does a roux do?
It's a thickening agent.
Very good. So we did 2 tablespoons of butter to 2 tablespoons of flour. We're gonna add about 1.5 cups of cream. We're gonna cook that really slowly because we don't want the cream to curdle or anything. I'm gonna let that heat up just a little bit, and then we're gonna add the cheese. Let it melt. We also want to add
Salt.
I was gonna say some little spice. So some cayenne pepper. Also JJ throwing stuff over there, classic. Adding our American cheese, and then we're just gonna stir that up.
Looks great.
We're just gonna wait till it's all smooth and melted.
Imagine you normally pay like $2.50 just for a squirt of that.
It's true. All right, gotta grab it and crisp up the pork shoulder that we made earlier. So I'm gonna use the same cast iron, the same flavorful stuff that's right there. And then I'm pulling the pulled pork from here. And this is where I wanted it, where it's falling off and falling apart as I'm taking it out of here. I'm literally just taking the tongs and barely pressing on it, and it's completely falling apart. It's completely shredded.
We're very
Wasn't
excited.
that amazing? That was really cool. All right, so now we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it in the pan. Whoa. Man, the children are ganging up on us today. Now that they've soaked up the bottom, basically cleaning the cast iron, I'm gonna let this crisp up a little. We have just seasoned this a little bit more with salt and pepper and some lemon juice for that extra acidic spice. And then it's done. We have the finished, so we have cilantro lime rice. What are you laughing at? We have some black beans, some carnitas, and some chicken, some salsa, some queso, some lettuce, sour cream, cheese, and guac. The only thing I didn't make. Wow, that is my child for you. What is up with you today?
He's disgusting.
Thank you all for watching. It was quite an adventure to make so many things. Just loved every second of it. Whipple. Heck yeah. Have it your way. Mr. always loves his burritos. Woohoo!